The Patriots finished the season 4-13, worst team in the AFC East, one of the worst records in the league, secured them a top 5 pick, and it resulted in Jerod Mayo being fired. Now that brings me to the conversation about black coaches, not just in the NFL, but in all sports. So what's the problem, or why do black coaches have such a short leash when it comes to these teams? Jerod Mayo had one season to figure it all out, get the team together. This organization wanted him to be a playoff team, show improvement each and every week. And some of that stuff's just not possible. Now, I'm not saying that Jerod Mayo was a great coach, because he wasn't. The team was absolutely terrible. But it's not like the team was super talented either. You had a rookie, Drake May. You had Jacoby Brissett, who was pretty mid. You had a very bad receiving core. I mean, Hunter Henry is a cool tight end, but he's not a Pro Bowler. You traded one of your best defenders in Matthew Judon in the offseason, and you're expecting him to be great this season. Like, when it comes to a coach, you need at least 3 years so you can get a team, build them up, develop your players, develop your guys. And then after 3 years, if you see, oh, this is going bad, then that's when you get rid of them. Now, there's reports that the Patriots want to go after Mike Vrabel. Why didn't you do that last season when he was available? The Titans fired him. He was available for any team. Any team could have called him, and the Patriots should have been that team. Now, if they don't get him, then this is a complete waste, because you could have got him last year. So then you hired Jerod Mayo, who isn't a long-term guy, as Patriots fans are saying. So if he's not a long-term guy, you don't see him being there in the future, why sign him to begin with? And as you see, it's only Patriots fans that's talking about him, so obviously you're going to feel a certain bias towards your team. But like I said, the team isn't that great. But that brings me to back to the main topic of this video, because this is unplanned. But black coaches have a short leash. You've seen it with Lovie Smith in Houston. He won a game in the last week of the season that lost him the first pick, put them at second, and got them C.J. Stroud. People were mad at a coach for winning a game. The Texans were bad that season. But you're telling me a coach is supposed to tell his guys, hey, let's go lose this game. No, that's not how the game works. You play a game to win, no matter if it's baseball, basketball, soccer, volleyball, no matter what it is. At the end of the day, you play to win. So Lovie Smith coached his guys. He got a good play. It was Davis Mills' Hail Mary to win the game. You know how lucky that is? And Lovie Smith lost his job because of that. Because he drew up a good play. He had a good game plan. Season struggling all along. And then he ended up making the right play and getting the win. And he gets fired because they didn't get the first overall pick. You moved down one pick and still got a generational quarterback talent. You still ended up with C.J. Stroud, who took you to the playoffs in your first year. In his first year as a rookie. So I don't understand that. This is not happening to white coaches like that. And you can say what you want, I'm bringing race into it, oh, this and that. No, that's the fact. Black coaches don't get as long as white coaches do. There's a reason. Now, the NFL has to interview at least one minority coach when they're looking for a coach position, but it's much easier for a white coach to get the job than a black coach. Lovie Smith hasn't got a job since that. Because of that one, a quote-unquote mistake of him winning a game. At the end of the day, your goal is to win the game. And I guess people were mad at Jerod Mayo for winning this game against the Bills. Their starters played like one quarter. James Cook didn't play the whole game. Josh Allen just took a few snaps to keep pace with the record of most consecutive games played by a quarterback. So it's like the Bills shouldn't have won that game. But black coaches don't get us along. You see it in the NBA, the Mike Brown situation. I already talked about it on my podcast. He had 3 years, led them to a playoffs for the first time since the iPhone was invented, and got fired. Because the management was stagnant after year one. Then year two, they said, the defense sucks, let's get DeRozan. That didn't change anything. The organization is not moving in the right direction. They're taking the wrong steps. And sure, Doug Christie has won a few games in a row. Mike Brown has done that numerous times. Mike Brown was doing a great job as a coach for the Kings. There's no justifying him getting fired in Sacramento. You can't justify not Antonio Pierce, but what's his name? Jerod Mayo. Just him getting 1 year, not getting a chance for the team to improve. Obviously he saw what the roster was like and the improvements he needed to make, but he can't make that going into the offseason because he only had 1 year. Tell me, since this mainly happens to black coaches. I won't say it don't happen to white coaches too, but it mainly happens to black coaches. And I'm tired of seeing this. You see it all the time. A guy like Dwayne Casey, when he was with the Pistons, won Coach of the Year and got fired. Notice how DeMar DeRozan got 2 Coach of the Years fired? Maybe DeMar DeRozan is the problem in the NBA. But how often do you see a coach win Coach of the Year, then get fired? You don't see that often. It happened to Dwayne Casey and Mike Brown. There's plenty of other coaches like this, but black coaches do not get as long as white coaches do. There's always been racism in sports. It's always existed. So for people to act like it doesn't, it's freaking ridiculous. Like, why do you think it took so long for quarterbacks like Warren Moon to make it to the NFL? He wasn't allowed to play quarterback. You know how dumb that sounds? When Lamar Jackson went to Louisville, people wanted him to become a receiver or running back when he was in college. But he wasn't going for that. That's why he went to Louisville, because he didn't have to change who he was to try to fit in, because his play style don't work. That's not true. Josh Allen is a white quarterback doing the same thing, but you don't see people making these comments of, oh, he should have been a running back or a wide receiver. Why do you think that is? It's the stereotype around black quarterbacks and them running and that they can't win and that they're always injury prone. But it's the guys who stay in the pocket that get hurt the most. So what are we doing here? It's like this racism stuff, it always exists. It's in the media. It's clearly in the media. The way they talk about black quarterbacks is so different from how they talk about white quarterbacks. You see the own black people hating on guys like Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. That's crazy to me. You see him hating on guys like Caleb Williams, and he only a rookie. Are y'all not giving him no time to improve? Bryce Young got benched for absolutely no reason. After the coach said, we're sticking with Bryce Young, and it has to be David Temper that said something to the owner. He was like, Bryce Young needs to be benched. And that's the only reason why he was benched. But that only happened because he's black. Trevor Lawrence was just as bad as Bryce Young through his first 2 seasons, through his first 20 games. But nobody's talking about that. And Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, two of my favorite quarterbacks. But look at their stats compared in the first 20 games to tell me what was so much different between the two. And Trevor Lawrence wasn't benched. They stuck with him. You have to stick with a guy for 3 years. That's just how it has to go. And if you're not doing it that way, then that's a problem. Obviously, if things are going bad, you're going to want to make change, but you got to be patient. Because quick change isn't always the best change, and this is ridiculous. So like I said, but back to the black coaches, black coaches don't have as much time to put a team together to try to build a roster and actually build competent teams and build some type of continuity. White coaches get a much longer leash, have much more respect in the league. Even the thing with the quarterbacks, white quarterbacks are much more respected. You don't see them getting hated on as much. Even Patrick Mahomes that's being mixed, that is the reason why he's getting hated on. Like a lot of people say, oh, the games are rigged, this and that. No, the Chiefs are just simply better than everybody, and Mahomes is just simply the best quarterback in the league. Racism still exists in sports, so stop acting like it doesn't. That's ridiculous. That's it for this video. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what you think. Be respectful in the comments. I'm out.